Welcome to this episode of Ask the Guitar Coach, the only podcast where you get answers to all your guitar-related questions. If you're interested in developing your guitar skills and reaching your music goals, please send me an email at the email address ioannis@ioannis.org. That is ioannis@ioannis.org, so that I can let you know about all the different packages of elite guitar coaching and how you can get private coaching by me. Without further ado, let's go to our question for the day. Do you currently have ups and downs on your playing depending on the specific day? So here's a really good question. I think it's really interesting because I've been asked this from the other way around several times before. So a student will send me a question, or a fan of Ask the Guitar Coach, and he will tell me that his playing fluctuates a lot from day to day. So now this time the question is whether my playing fluctuates a lot from day to day. And it's not going to be an easy answer to this one, because not too much, because there are two ways to see it. Do I feel it fluctuate? Does it actually fluctuate? Okay? One of them has to do with emotion, like, oh, I feel that this is way, maybe I play better today or I play worse today. And then there's another part that has to do with kind of more objective, let's say, data. And as a general principle, whenever I'm examining something, I try to also find a way to get some objective data about it instead of just going by the feel. I know this is not a very, how can I say that? It's not a very cool thing to say, but everybody says just follow your heart, do what you feel. But I think that the combination of feeling, emotions, and some logic and some more objective data gives me the best of both worlds. So let's see. My playing does not really fluctuate that much. So from one day to the next, I might not be in a great mood, I might not be feeling it very much. So I might think that it fluctuates. However, if I'm recording something and then I listen back to the recording, or even better, if my producer or my recording engineer listens back, they don't seem to have a big difference the days where I feel that I'm on versus the days that I feel that I'm not in a very good playing mood. So basically, even though I feel, once again, I'm emphasizing this is an emotion, I might feel that I'm not in a good mood or that I'm not playing very well, my producer tells me, no, it's your usual stuff. I hope he means it in a good way, but it's basically, he says that the fluctuation is very, very small. So when this fluctuation is so small that it becomes to the point where an actual trained professional who does this for a living, who records people, specifically guitar players, cannot really hear the difference very clearly, then I say that it's not important, I tend to ignore it and I'll just keep on playing. Now, if I'm really not in the mood, it's not very often, but it might happen, and I don't want to play anymore, then I'm not gonna like stress over it, I'll just stop playing and leave it for another day. But the actual playing doesn't fluctuate that much. Now, this was not the case when I was younger. Things were kind of different back then. And even then I used to keep the data, some data in some kind of objective form, usually by having a tape recorder record everything, so I could like listen back and see if there was any truth to whatever I was feeling at the time. So what was the difference? There was a much bigger fluctuation depending on my mood, depending on the specific day, and sometimes it was a fair amount of difference. Now, why was that the case? At that time, I was trying to attain a level, and some days I could do it, some days I couldn't do it. It was not, that specific level of playing was not yet part of me. It was something I was striving to get to, so any little thing could just topple it out of balance. Obviously, after several years, eventually that specific level, whatever that was reached, and then it became part of my being. So it's kind of like saying, if I'm not going to be able to speak correctly and use grammar correctly depending on the day. Not really. Some days you might not be in a very much speaking mood, or some days you might be in a good mood for speaking, but you still know your grammar and you're still gonna make proper sentences and syntax and everything. So, to make a long story short, it used to fluctuate a lot when I was younger and when I was in my purely formative musician years. Nowadays, it doesn't fluctuate a lot from one day to the next. So there you have it. I hope this was helpful, and I will see you on the next episode of Ask the Guitar Coach. Until then, keep sending me your questions and I'll do my best to answer them in a future episode. Bye bye.